Yo, what's good people, it's Cactus, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to design and use Grime Bass or Grime 808's. It's another one that everyone's been asking for, and I've just finished cooking up a drill beat. I feel like that kind of bass will work well in this track, so I'll show you my process, how I design mine, how you can do yours for your packs. Even if you're not making your own packs and you just want to add a new sound to your beat, or you don't really know how to use it, then I'm going to go through everything, so let's get straight into it. Alright, so I'm going to show you the beat that I've made, and then I'll talk you through designing the 808 and where I'd usually place them in a beat too. So this is what I've come up with. So beats sounding kind of hard. With the 808's, I've actually got some like flanger on them. I've widened them a little bit. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to take that off the 808 just because I think that might clash with a Grime Bass. Because when I make the Grime Bass, I'm going to add certain effects like a flanger or a chorus. I'll show you a few different techniques, but because that's going to widen it, I think that might just clash with the 808's a bit too much. So to make a Grime Bass, you're going to need to start with an existing 808. And I've done tutorials on that in the past. If you haven't seen them, then watch the one where I show you how to make an 808 from scratch. Sometimes I think for packs it's okay to use existing sounds only if you manipulate them so much that you can't even tell it's the original sound, you know what I'm saying? So don't just like take things and put them in your pack, make sure you tweak them enough. So I'm just going to clone this 808 and I'm going to send it to a different track, and what you want to do is actually reverse the 808. This one takes a while to come in, so what I'm going to do is adjust the start time or the length. So I still want a bit of the fade in, but I don't want it to take that long, otherwise I'm going to have to mess with the positioning too much. Maybe a bit more. And because it's not starting straight from the beginning, you might get a click or a pop, and if you do, just bring up the attack a little bit, which I have done on this 808 anyway. So just bring up the attack a little bit, and that's just going to act like a quick fade in just to eliminate any pops. So after you've reversed the 808, you want to play with some distortion and things like flanger or a chorus. So I'll show you a few different techniques. First, I'm going to add a clipper to the sound. And the clipper itself can act as a bit of saturation. Look, I'll show you. If I boost this up, even though it's already got some distortion on it, you can hear it a bit more. It's louder, but it's not clipping when it goes into the master. Could even boost it up higher. That's a bit too much for me, so maybe around about there. And now I'm going to add something like, I like the fruity flangers. And this is just going to widen it. Even the standard preset sounds good. So you want to get creative at this point, you can try that one. So let's just go with the default one for now. And now, because I want to use this Grime Bass to emphasize the 808's, I want to take the lows out and just keep the highs. So I'm going to pull up an EQ, remove some of the lows. Could try that. Let's bring this length back as well. Alright, let's roll with that for now. And the next thing I'm going to add is reverb. I'm going to bring the mix level down. And the decay, I think they're pre-delay too. Again, maybe cut out some lows. Or actually, let's put the reverb before the EQ, and then the EQ can help to cut out the lows as well. So the more mix level that you add, that's going to push the sound further into the background. So it just depends on the vibe of the track. So for this one, I think around about here might sound good. And look, I'll show you how wide the sound's actually got now, just by using these plugins. So if I turn everything off, I'll keep the clipper on. See that signal, it's just in a straight line. That means it's a mono signal, it's just going straight down the middle. Now look, with these plugins, with fruity flangers, watch how wide it gets. So let's see how this one sounds. I'm just going to press Shift and E to open Edison. I'm going to turn this off, change this to on input, and I'm just going to record the sound in. And then I'm just going to trim the beginning off. We didn't really need that till around about there when it starts. And I can maybe keep the rest of it in. Now I'm going to use this tool to drag it back in here. If it's getting a bit messy, just hit F12. That just closes all open plugins. I'll rename this Grime Bass. Now when I come into here, we can treat it like an 808. Turn off loop points, load regions, and bring everything down apart from the hold. So if you're making it for a pack, you could just keep it like this. Maybe boost it up a little bit. And you could either save it from Edison or just right click here and then click save as. Well, what I'm thinking to do for this one is actually add the reverb after. So I'm going to record another version in without the reverb. And I'm doing this now because if I go on this Grime Bass, this is the one that we just exported. It's got the reverb tail, but how I want to use it is a bit like an 808. So I've brought everything down except for the hold so that it only plays for as long as I tell it to. But if I let go, you're not going to get that reverb tail, which I want. So that's why I'm just exporting a version without reverb. I mean, you could add reverb to the one that we did before, but then you're doubling the amount of reverb up, which can get a bit muddy. I'll do around about the same mix level. Bring up the attacks, I'm hearing a click. I want to tame back the high energy just a little bit as well. Just because there was some hissing noise. You know what, I can probably take a few more lows out of this one too. Let's see how this sounds now. So in the beat, I'm thinking I can use it to emphasize some of the 808s. I'm thinking maybe towards the end of this 8 bar. This section. Alright, so look, let's just straight away just try and put the same notes in. Just quantize them. So it's not really standing out much. Let's try this one. I'm actually going to mute the 808. Let's see if I can just use the Grime Bass. Try up an octave. I might try with a bit more reverb. Roll off some more highs. So I quite like the sound. I'm going to see if the 808s will fit well, like an octave underneath that. So I'm going to bring the actual 808s back down. Let's try this. Yeah, I think that sounds sick. And now with the other bass, I can maybe pan them. So I can go to control, note panning. And the sounds are quite wide as it is. So when they're that wide, you won't always notice the panning as much. But let's just see, because it might work. I'll do it to the extreme. I'm just going to alternate them. Yeah, it's sounding hard. I like the sound of that. All right, let's see if we can emphasize some of the other ones. So maybe something like this, but up a few octaves. Change the panning again. So that works. Yeah, there we go. So that's one way that you can use them, just to emphasize existing slides and just add to them a little bit. So this is going on top of the 808s, but because we took out a lot of that low energy, it's just not really clashing. Plus we've brought them up another octave as well. All right, I'll keep that for now, but let's design a new one and I'll figure out a different way how to use it in the beat. All right, I'll try one from my second drum kit. Maybe something like this. So again, I'll come into it and I'm gonna reverse it. This starting time might be okay. I'm gonna change the envelope settings again, slight attack, and I'm gonna boost it. If you want quick distortion, you could just turn on clip from here, but I just prefer the sound of the classic clipper. You could use Fruity Soft Clipper as well. So that's obviously a lot of distortion. Could dial it back. But let's actually figure out our own distortion. So let's just use some stop plugins. Got a Fruity Blood Overdrive. We can increase the preamp and I'll just add soft clipper to the end. Increase the color. Sounding a bit crazy, but you might like the sound of it. So that's one option. Camel Crusher is a free plugin, so I definitely recommend this one. These are a bit crazy, but you can always dial back the mix level. You could even test them up another octave, because that's how you'd usually place them anyway. So I actually like the sound of this one, maybe with the mix level dialed back a bit. This was Blood Overdrive. Actually, I prefer that. So I'm going to use Blood Overdrive and let's try Fruity Chorus this time. Even the default one sounded good. Filtro sounds good too. I'm going to keep default there and I'll just show you one more thing. So even Fruity Flanger. Yeah, these are sounding hard. Alright, that was crazy. You could get experimental and try something like this. I'm actually going to go with this one. It's got quite a unique sound. I'm just going to add the stock EQ and reverb to this one as well. See, that sounds hard. Let's change it to the Cathedral preset. bring down the bass and the decay. Put a low cut on, or we could just do that with the EQ. So you notice that every time you press a key, you get a bit of a different effect, and that's because of the flanger or the chorus that's on there. Well, we've actually got both on right now. I just record in a couple when you export it to Edison and then pick the best one. I actually like it with both flanger and chorus. This is without chorus, and then this is with both. And I'll just record it an octave up because that's how we're going to use it. I'll do one down as well. So depending on how you've got the settings on the 808, you can see that when I've played it an octave down, it's playing the full sample, because when you pitch things up, it basically stretches it. So if you want to export a longer sample so you've got more to play with, then do it an octave down. But if you just want something quick, use the octave up. And again, I'm going to export a version without reverb. Send that to a different track, and I'll just copy them reverb settings. To do that, just click save preset as, and then drag it over. And I'll just adjust the envelope of the new Grime 808, bring the attack up a tiny bit. And it looks like there's quite a bit of a delay here, but it might sound right. I'm going to take some of the slides out of the 808 just at the end of each bar, because that's usually where I add my Grime Bass. So instead of the slides there, let's use this Grime Bass. Let's play with the panning again. Oh, it's already panned. And then maybe go a little bit crazy towards the end. Maybe turn down the velocity of them as well. Let's just hear this pattern. So I kind of like that pattern. So that's just another way that you can use it. So in the first one, I'm just kind of emphasizing the 808 slides and adding them on top of them. And then in the second one, I'm kind of replacing the slides. So where there's gaps in the 808, that's when I'll add the Grime Bass. So these were both quite experimental, but I'll let you download them both for free. I'll leave a link in the description so you can get them with and without reverb. So when you're making your own, just try different plugins like saturation, distortion, flanger, different chorus effects, maybe something like sausage fattener, and just see what sounds you can come up with. So I hope you liked the video, and I hope you're feeling the beat. So if you're making your own drum kit, or if you just wanted some new sounds to use, then hopefully this video helps. And like I said, I'll leave links to both the bass samples in the description. I'll include them with and without reverb, just in case you want to add your own. And yeah, I know this video was a little bit different. I didn't show the whole beat making process, but a lot of people have been asking me to show them how to make Grime Bass. So hopefully this video helps. If it did, then make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because I drop videos every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 PM, and I'll see you next time.